Hi, and welcome to the June edition of According to Pete. Today, we're going to talk about a couple of things. In the second half of the video, I'm going to talk about my workspace setup. I've been asked a couple of times for something of a tour around this place. I'll point you at some stuff, but mostly I want to talk about the tools that I use and what I like to have on hand and critical items like that. But first, we're going to talk about a contest. It's a contest, okay? Get it all out of your system. We do business with a company called SparkFun, okay? Hey, SparkFun, love you guys, man. And they do some flex sensors and some soft pots and some other stuff that you'll find on our website. 6 weeks or 2 months ago or something like that, some SparkFun people went out to tour SparkFun and see everything that they do. And at some point the conversation turned to, hey, maybe we could do something together, you think? They were offered an example of a circuit. This one. It's got an 8-pin SOC on it. It looks like you got an LED, a couple of resistors, and a couple of coin cells, okay? So this is presented as an example of the sort of thing that they can do at SparkFun. It's a flexible circuit. Now that's nothing new. We've all played with the Kapton-based flex circuits. Personally, I hate Kapton. Back in the day when I worked as a technician in two-way radio, we would always replace the Kapton flex circuit, no matter what. It was the first thing you did when you open the radio up. So these things are always breaking, right? This is the material that that SparkFun uses, and they don't use copper traces, okay? So it's a little more durable. We're looking at this thing in the engineering department. We're going like, well, what could we do with this? Yeah, it sort of lends itself well to e-textiles, right? My counter argument to that is that if you're using components in your e-textiles project that are small enough, then the flexibility becomes unnecessary. You get the flex from the wiring between the components or you know, something like that, and you do this and you look like an idiot. Okay, long story short, we can't come up with what we think is a reasonable idea for how to use this. Here's the contest. I want to offer it up to all y'all who are watching this, and hopefully there's a lot of you watching this. Give us your ideas. What do you think we could do with this that is cool, that is reasonable, that is workable, that is a useful addition to what we do here, right? Because we're not trying to just make junk to put out on the website to sell. I mean, we need to make money at the end of the day too, right? But we want to make something that's going to contribute to the field. So here's this thing. It will flex. So give us your best ideas. Now, what do you get? Now, I'm not going to promise right away that there is absolutely going to be a winning idea. Like, it is possible that every idea will suck. Assuming we get a good one, we are going to offer you, I got this written down, some swag. So like a hoodie, a t-shirt, a pint glass, you know, probably a couple of prototypes or whatever we're building, and probably a couple of production ones for you to play with too. The best thing of all is you're going to get a royalty from the sales, okay? So right off the top of the retail price, money's going to go to you. How much? It's probably going to be something like 5%, unless like you are heavily involved in the designing of this thing. That's normally how we do collaborations. All the ideas, dump them down in the comment section. We are going to be watching and we will be taking notes. And if we find something that's awesome, I mean, we'll take part in the conversation too. But if we find something that's awesome, we will be in contact with you and we will start building your thing. Now we're on to the second half of the video. And I want to talk to you about some of my preferred tools and my setup in my workspace at home. This is predominantly where I do all of the technical stuff. First, power supplies. I have two power supplies. This is my variable power supply. It's 30 volts at 3 amps, gives current and voltage. I also have a 5-volt power supply, which is stuck back in the corner here. That's a 5-volt, 10-amp power supply. So a lot of times, you know, a 5-volt supply is a cool thing to have because it covers a lot of, you know, you're doing a circuit, it's got a regulator on it. No trouble, 5 volts, that'll run it. Or sometimes you don't have a regulator and 5 volts, that's perfect. So I have that thing. Now that is also, since it's a 10-amp supply, I'm running a bunch of extra junk off of it just because I can. I had stuff lying around. I was like, hey, let's bling this up a little bit. So it's actually powering my Evil Mad Scientist Cylon thing kit. It's also powering the WWV clock up here and the meters up here. And up here, I've got it attached to an old Simpson meter. It was broken for a lot of things, but the meter movement still worked on the current setting. So right now, it's set up on a 10 amp scale, and you can see it, I'm drawing about an amp or so. Something else that I have, which a lot of people do not, but I want to mention it because it's a big freaking elephant in the room, is this spectrum analyzer. This is an HP 3585A. It's good from 20 hertz to 40 megahertz. I got this thing for 25 bucks from a previous company because it did not work. I don't think I would buy a spectrum analyzer any other way because they're expensive. But this one's old, it didn't work, it had a catastrophic failure, which is generally like a power switch or a fuse or a bad cord or something like that. So I was able to fix that. After I fixed that, I found out that, okay, you're gonna have to look this up. You couldn't get the resolution bandwidth lower than 3 kilohertz. Some of you guys are gonna have to look that up. I can't go into details, so we don't have the time to right now. But I got this thing for 25 bucks. If you're doing like radio work or audio work, spectrum analyzers are awesome. Next on the list is my oscilloscope. This is one of the ones that we sell. It's got a couple of channels. You always got to have a couple of channels because you need to, there's a good chance you're going to need to watch like one signal versus another one a lot of times. So you'll set one up as a trigger and the other one is the one that you're really interested in. So not too expensive. I think this one is $300-400 bucks on the site. Hey man, it's a nice scope. And I think it's good to, well, 60 megahertz. That's pretty good. So it's, you know, better than the spectrum analyzer. I recommend having one. Irons. Let's talk about irons. I have a couple of irons. I do have one of the Hackos that we sell. It's a nice iron. There's no question about it. This thing holds up really well. For a table unit, I don't know that you can get much better than that. It's simple and it's durable, and it has not failed me yet. I don't think I've even replaced the tip. So that's awesome. Also, I keep one of these guys. Honestly, I think I prefer the butane iron, and we sell this one too. I think it's like 29 bucks or something. I prefer this over the nice Hacko. It's got a little igniter on the tip here. The tank will run for about a half an hour straight, and it gets really, really hot. You can also use it really effectively for heat shrink. It's got like this nice window here, and you can kind of put that under your heat shrink, and it'll shrink it up really nice. This was from my KISS phase. I was 10 years old. What can I tell you? Everybody has a KISS phase. You got to have a meter. You see I have 2 meters. Reason I have 2 meters is the same reason that I have 2 channels on my scope. Sometimes I need to be looking at 2 different voltages simultaneously. A lot of times if I'm working on one of my tube amps, I do not want to ever touch the live circuit. So what I will do is I will hook up the meters with clip leads to the pertinent parts, and then I raise it up on a variac. My primary is a fluke. Primarily, I'm measuring resistance, and it does a little noise alarm when you're testing continuity. Hey! And then, you know, every meter's got that now, so that's no big deal. This one, Craftsman, I think this was $15 or something from Sears or some such. We do offer, I think, a couple of different meter options. I don't have SKUs for you, so go check those out. But they're effective. They were tested once upon a time. We thought they were good, so they're good. Hand tools. Hand tools are critical. If you're a lifer, you want good hand tools. So here are some of my faves. Flush cutter. I absolutely love these things. These are awesome. A pick. This comes in handy more times than you can possibly imagine. Good wire stripper. This will do a few different gauges. Mostly it's for like wire wrap wire. So if you're doing prototypes or such, that's cool. X-Acto knife. Like the pick, you'd be surprised at just how often this thing comes in handy. The blade only gets swapped maybe once a year. All right, so it's not critical for me that it's absolutely sharp all the time, although I will tell you the first week or two after a new blade goes in, it's like a party, man. Tweezers. Oh my gosh, I've had these tweezers for years, man. Perfect for doing surface mount, 06, 03, 04, 02, these things rock. And also another good side cutter. This is just an example of some of the tools that I have. More interestingly are the tools that I find in my bag, right? Because I do work at home, and sometimes I do work at work. Go figure. So these are the tools that I have in my bag. Not this screwdriver. That was a mistake, but this is a good screwdriver. Another wire stripper. These are the ones we sell. What I can tell you, these are really, really good for wire wrap, just like the other ones. Sometimes they can be a little iffy. You got to find the right hole. They're cheap tools. What can I tell you? Another thing, these cutting jaws suck. I've never had a pair, not just on these, but on any wire stripper that's got like the cutter in the jaw like that. They always get chewed up. Of course, I cut guitar strings and stuff, so maybe it's my fault. Another good side cutter, I believe this is a pair that we sell. I love these things. I haven't chewed them yet. I think they're awesome. A good set of pliers, little needle nose. These are Zuron. And I wrote some stuff in here because somebody kept taking my pliers. Forceps, like the X-Acto knife. You'll be amazed at how many times you use this. If you got to like solder a header or something, this is perfect. Or even hold a PCB, just to keep leverage on something and hold it still while you're trying to solder to it. These things are awesome. And then another pair of tweezers, because you know what? You can never have enough tweezers. This is not by any means my entire hand tool selection. I've been doing this for a few years, so I got a lot of tools. But these are the critical ones. And in fact, when I'm traveling, this is the pile that I consider I cannot do without. Now, you will notice that there is not a screwdriver in this pile. A lot of times, I don't need a screwdriver. I'm building a prototype. It's on a PCB. Okay, so the last thing I'll mention, and this is by no means necessary, but it's something that I have, is my Variac. There it is. Now, what a Variac does, if you don't already know, is it plugs into line voltage, so 120 volts AC, and it allows you to adjust an output from 0 volts AC up to 120 volts AC. Now, in my own case, I have it wired to this outlet along with a switch. It's not plugged in right now. That's good, because AC scares me. It's attached to this. I can quick turn something off if something's smoking, you know, like that. Again, this one's not absolutely necessary, but I mounted it here a few years ago, and I do use it once in a while. So, that's the tour of all my junk and what I work with. Likely you have something very similar in your own workspace, or if not, maybe I gave you some ideas about stuff that you need to do. Keep the questions and comments coming, especially the comments with ideas about the flex circuit for the contest. You can put them in the comment section below, or you can email your stuff, your ideas, to feedback@sparkfun.com with "According to Pete" in the subject line. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you in July. Bye!